Welcome, listeners, to the first episode of Brush and Bone, the podcast all about art for nerd culture, gaming, comic books, and whatever else that we want to talk about in regards to art. So, with me today is my co-host, Gio.
Hey everyone!
So, for the first episode, we decided that we're going to go super controversial, just go at it hard. So, today's topic is the very, very important topic of AI in art. This topic was recommended by none other than Gio, my co-host, my twin brother. And if we sound alike, sorry, I know this is going to be a little weird for people listening because our voices sound very similar. I have the sexier voice, but sometimes people...
I have the manlier voice, for sure.
Sometimes people get us confused, so, unfortunately, we're twin brothers. There's nothing we can do about that, so leave your hate comments in the comments. Anyways, the theme of today's, or the topic of today's show is all about AI art, inspired by Gio. So, let's go ahead and dive in right away into today's topic. So, what is AI art, Gio?
Well, AI art is basically art generated by a computer that uses a huge data set from pre-existing art that has been created by humans, and it basically generates new art with components from all of the other art that it's using in its data set. That's the gist of it.
Yeah, and AI art started off really bad. Everyone, at least who was around a couple of years ago in the know, remembers that AI was notoriously bad at doing hands and doing fingers, but that's kind of been resolved, hasn't it?
For the most part, there are still some errors. I've seen a lot of AI art online on Instagram, and that still, and I'll bring this up later, but people can still spot AI art pretty quickly still because of some of the flaws that are still inherent in the generated art. So
yeah, so AI, some of the software that's used to generate AI. Obviously, ChatGPT is very famous. They use DALL-E, I believe, is their AI art generation software. But we also have Grok. Midjourney is a really popular one for the tabletop gaming industry. Stable Diffusion. There's quite a few different AI. What's that one? Wonder, was it, that we were using for a while?
Wonder, yep. There's a ton of them now. A lot of them. Just Asian apps that are... because some of the bigger ones like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion don't allow risque art and certain other things that would be controversial. So there's a lot of independent apps that will allow that kind of stuff.
Honestly, I thought that when AI was like, AI art was kind of starting to gain steam, I thought most people were going to be using it for that, to just generate their favorite like, actor or actress or singer or whatever in risque positions and like naked and all that stuff. But you do see some of that, but you don't see it as much as I thought you would,
That's true. Yeah. You see a lot of jokes, a lot using real celebrities. They'll do like funny stuff, I've seen Will Smith like bathing in spaghetti or something.
Oh God, Will Smith spaghetti. The origin of that was the very first video that was viral from AI generated videos was Will Smith eating spaghetti, and it was a very like nightmarish, horrifying video. And now like that's kind of a recurring theme now that AI video has gotten much better. A lot of people are making Will Smith eating spaghetti in different locations or whatever, and it looks almost real now. So it's crazy in just a couple of years how much it's advanced. I mean, I remember like 3 years ago, no one even heard of AI art, and look where we are now. It was bad at hands, it was bad at a few things, and within just a couple of years, it's really advanced tremendously. So,
and not just the static art. But video as well. It's just become to where people are really worried because during presidential elections and stuff like that, there could be fake videos that make their way out there and people start believing them. without doing any research. They just believe the first thing they see, and it could really sway people's votes and people's ideas of, not even just in politics, but for celebrities. And they could generate a celebrity doing something crazy, and people eat it up.
Yeah, so we will get to that actually in the next part of the segment. Right now, I wanted to kind of talk about the case for AI art. So I want to really kind of dive into the reason for AI art even existing. Like, what are some of the benefits of having AI art? Is there any positive outcome from this thing being part of humanity now?
Well, like with anything, it's a way, because of the way that AI generates art by compiling from an entire huge data set. It can create something new from something existing. Like, nothing that it generates is completely new, but it's just like creating a collage, for example. You're creating something new out of existing parts, found art, things like that. So it does have some validity, and an artist who needs inspiration, for example, can key in something really crazy, and the AI will generate it based on what already exists and what it will believe you want it to generate. So it could create something that inspires an artist. So in those kinds of uses, I think it has a lot of value. It also, for people who want to create art and they can't draw themselves. So I know in gaming this is used a lot, where you want to use a picture in your online D&D game, and you want to show the orc eating the person, and you can't find art of an orc eating an elf or whatever. You generate it in AI, and then you can show your gamers as a DM the image so they can visualize it a little bit easier. So in those kinds of uses, it does have value as well. So
yeah, I agree. I think AI does have its use case. Like you said, it can generate some poses, or maybe even something that you can use as reference. And I don't think that's unethical. Some people may disagree, and I understand that. But we will get to the ethical area in just a moment. But
you said using it as reference is a great use for it as well, where if you can't find somebody doing a specific pose that you want to draw, and you don't have a reference, you don't have a model, and you just key it into the AI and it generates it for you, and you use that as a reference. You're not really using what AI has provided. You can change it while you're drawing it and just use the pose as a reference, the way it's supposed to be used. Also, I've seen on Instagram, there's an artist I follow who he makes drawings himself, completely uses it, creates his own drawing from scratch, and then he feeds it into the AI for the AI to modify his created art, and it changes it just slightly and creates something completely new.
Interesting.
There are people who have problems with that. I saw a video recently.
Why? It's his
where
art.
Somebody says, yeah, it's his art, but they're saying that the argument was that it's not really only using his art, that it's still pulling from the data set to help generate this, so it's still unethical.
Right.
So, I mean, people are going to find something wrong with it regardless,
Sure.
but I think there are uses where it could validly be considered a useful tool and a valid tool for creating art.
Yeah, also, I think for the gaming, I'm part of the... I bring in more the TTRPG kind of side to it. Gio brings in more the comic book side to it. I feel like the TTRPG side, there's people there's game masters that are going to, like you said, they're going to need an image of an orc eating the arm of someone. And you can't find that online, so you need something generated, so you use AI to generate it. You're not selling the art, you're not, putting it in a book or publishing it for others to use. You're just using it for your own individual use case. And I think that's a huge part of a benefit of having AI art available, because for the gaming community, you may have a character that you just made 5 minutes ago, and you're like, I need a quick portrait of this character. No artist is going to be able to create a portrait in 5 minutes, or that you can reach out to. I mean, unless you're very lucky and you can do it yourself or something. But you
And if somebody can do it, they're going to charge you an arm and a
Right.
leg for sure.
Right. So
to do it that
So
quick.
you just need an image for your character, just so you can play online and have, an idea of what your character looks like for others and for yourself to get inspired. And so you generate one, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
Yeah, and that brings up the other point which is real art costs money. I mean, artists need to get paid, and sometimes, especially if you're playing with a small group of 5 people, D&D or whatever, and you need this art to show your players or whatever, for flavor. You're not going to go and spend $500 to buy one piece of art, or even if it's cheap, even if it's $50. Not everybody can afford that. And you're just going to be using it that one time, very briefly, with 5 people who see it, and you're going to spend all this money. It just doesn't really make financial sense.
And
so you can.
I can assure you, I've done it. I've gone on Fiverr and I paid $100 for a sketch for a character, and I paid $300 for a full color portrait of a character. Trust me, it gets very expensive. And why would someone pay that much money for a character? I did, I know, and there are some people that would, but if you're playing multiple games and multiple tables, or your character dies quickly, let's say you're playing Shadow Dark and your character dies very quickly, then you're gonna need multiple portraits. And so, are you gonna constantly be dishing out $100 to $300 every time? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be real. Anyways,
It adds up.
it sure does. But with that said, so what are the cons of AI art? What are the things that people
Well,
are
the
saying?
biggest one is you have to train these AI models, and to train them, you need the data set, and the data set comes from existing art. And realistically, the creators of these AI models aren't going to go to every single artist in the world and ask their permission to use their art. So there's ethical questions here that are raised on, hey, they're training these data sets on these models on data sets of existing art, and they're not paying, they're not getting the permission or consent from the artists. And basically, as an artist myself, if somebody takes my art and starts plastering it on billboards and doesn't pay me and doesn't ask me if they can use it, I would have a problem with that for sure. So that is the biggest concern I think that people raise when it comes to the ethics of AI.
Yeah.
Then there's also sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, also just in terms of like what we were talking about, you can pay $300 to an artist to make your character's image or get it for free. So then, is that taking away from artists' possible jobs? And that, I think that for me, that's the biggest consideration. Are artists losing jobs and potential income because AI exists?
Yeah, and that's also a huge concern. Now, you do have the people who say, well, back in the day when photography, for example, didn't exist, then you had, if somebody wanted a portrait done, they'd have to hire a painter to do it. Now, when photography started becoming something big in the late 1800s, artists suddenly become concerned because, hey, now they can just have somebody take a photograph. I'm out of a job, and here comes a photo, and they can replicate that 1,000,000 times if they want. So now they don't just get one portrait painted. Now they can have the same portrait, distributed to the entire family and all over the world. And that was a problem. But photography did find its footing as its own art form, and it didn't really, it may have affected artists for a short while, but eventually everything found its place. So this is an argument that people have for AI as well.
Yeah. So is it a
Is it
disruptive?
the same though? Right.
Is it a disruptive technology like photography? Is it, just like you said, photography came into, but it wasn't the only thing that disrupted the industry. digital editing, digital tools became a big thing. People were, I remember saying, well, why would you take a digital photo? You can have a print photo, right? So like digital photography, everyone thought was going to kill physical media, but in the end, there's still a place for physical media and digital media as well. It just kind of shoved its way inside and made space for itself, and maybe even expanded the way photography is viewed or art is viewed. So I feel like, in a way, it expanded art. The introduction of digital photography and digital editing tools for art expanded the way people could express themselves via art.
Yeah, exactly. The other question with AI is it doesn't always generate exactly what you want the way an artist would. And so you can ask an artist to make you hire them to do a commission. You can ask them to paint whatever, a fairy floating over a mountain with an upside down tree growing out of the sun. And an artist can completely do that. And in the middle of them drawing it, you can say, actually, you know what, that tree, I don't want it to have more than 2 branches. And you can do that, and the artist will comply. Can you do that with AI? I mean, you have to be a master AI user, to know how to key in a prompt that will generate exactly what you
Some
want.
people proclaim themselves as AI artists, and they say, I'm a master prompter, and they really swear by the fact that they are an artist because they know how to prompt properly.
Correct. Now, is that really an art?
No.
Some people argue that it is.
No.
A lot of people.
Sorry.
A lot of people really fight tooth and nail about it.
Yeah, I don't think so. Not at all.
We'll talk about some examples. I'll talk about some examples later on where people really have argued for it, and generally the community, the artist community, and even the general public. I think for the most part, there's this big backlash against AI art, specifically, and AI music, and I think so far that pushback is keeping it from becoming as big as everybody thought it would be at this point.
Yeah. So now that you mention it, let's get into some of those controversies and whether they're warranted or not. So let's start with just the basics, right? So AI as a concept, AI art as a concept, and not talking about music. I'm just talking about physical media, like visual, right? Visual media. So
right, visual media,
and not video, just still photography or still art. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that it's unethical?
Unethical, it is, but there's really nothing you can do about it. But then again, you've had, for example, photographs of celebrities that are out there that the paparazzi take without permission, and they publish them, and the celebrity gets no compensation for it, and the paparazzi make a lot of money off of them. And then you'll have an artist who say they want to do a portrait of whatever, Scarlett Johansson, and they'll just Google Scarlett Johansson, they'll find a photograph from the paparazzo, and they'll draw it. And now you're using this image of this person without their permission.
I like me some Scarlett Johansson. I'm sorry, I don't feel that's unethical. But anyways, I disagree with you. I don't think it's unethical at all.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. Is it unethical? I think there's a fine line there between whether it should be considered unethical or not, because really, if you can't control it, and it's been happening anyway in other ways, like with the photographs and the paparazzi, it's just a fact of life. Unfortunately, it's just something. It's reality, and you got to roll with it. So,
yeah, I also feel, and I know others have made this argument, that humans learn by watching previous humans that have done things before them. So
yeah, standing on the shoulders of giants, right?
You're never, so you can't be born and be an amazing artist, right? You can't be born and draw the Mona Lisa. You had to have studied other people's works in order to make the Mona Lisa, or the Sistine Chapel, or whatever. right? um, so, in my opinion, you're learning from those artists, and sometimes you do a study, so you'll actually copy that art and make your own version of it, right? And do a study of it. You study the color, you study the, the perspective or whatever, and those are things that help you get better as a person. And that's literally what AI is doing. It's learning from other people's work and then making a brand new work that is unique. And it's not what some people think is that AI is just copy pasting little bits and pieces from other people's art and making like a Frankenstein's monster version of a piece. But no piece would come out cohesive the way it does if that was the case. That doesn't actually work that way. What AI is doing, it's learning from other people's art and then making its own unique piece. So I don't think it's unethical. And I know this is a very controversial thing to say, and people are going to tear me apart in the comments. That's fine. But that's just how I feel. I'm an artist, and I don't think it's unethical.
Right. I'm an artist too, and I honestly don't think it's unethical to use AI, but to state that it is AI. So, for example, that artist that I follow who feeds his own drawings into the AI model, he is very clear on all his posts. This was my art, and I fed it into an AI. So the final outcome is basically a kind of mixed media result.
Yeah.
But he's upfront about it. Now, there's some accounts that I have followed and I have since dropped where they claim they're making a sketch every day, and it's a pencil sketch, and they even put hashtag pencil sketch, sketch daily, pencil art, and it's completely AI generated, made to look like pencil art, and it's obviously AI, and you can feed it. There are websites where you can feed an AI image or a suspected AI image, and it will tell you if it's likely AI or not, and it'll give you the percent probability that it is AI. And in this way you can do that. Now, there are instances where AI art has slipped through, and this is where I think is completely unethical, is to pass it off as your own real human-made art when it's AI, when you're not clear about what it is. For example, there's a famous comic book artist who was very popular, Francesco Mattina, Italian guy, and his covers were amazing. They were like a painted style, really dark, really, really cool stuff. He drew Batman and Spawn and stuff. And one day, DC Comics announced a cover that for a Superman issue that was coming out. And the cover was by Francesco Mattina. And people started noticing when they looked a little closer that Superman's logo the S had two tails. And they're like, wait a minute. How does a human artists make that kind of a mistake? And it turns out they don't, that it was AI. And so there was this huge blowback because he's passing it off as something that he's painted, but it's actually AI generated, or at least partially AI generated, and he didn't disclose that. So he got blacklisted, and people obviously became upset about it. There are other instances. Todd McFarlane, another big comic book artist, and he runs Image Comics now, and he held a contest for a Spawn, something he called Spanuary, and he got basically the fans to send in their own home-drawn art, and the winner would make the cover of a future Spawn issue. And he ends up picking the winners, and the top winner ends up being AI generated. And people recognize it because the image that this person submitted, the face of Spawn in the image, was an actual drawing from another Spawn issue. And it was directly from that Spawn issue. And it was just plastered onto a different Spawn body or whatever. And everybody's like, I have this issue. How did you not spot this right away, that this was AI generated? And how does he win this contest? Corel Draw, they held a contest for artists. The winner would win some money, and their art would be featured in advertisements for Corel Draw. Now, this is an app that artists use to make art. And one of the three top winners, was an AI generated image, and everybody right away, because now you can kind of spot some of the AI art at a glance, and they identified as the art. And they said, the blowback was, hey, you're a company that makes an app for drawing. your employees should be able to identify when something is not human made. Everybody else was able to do it. Why were your judges not able to do that? Doesn't make any sense. There's also a company that manufactures drawing tablets that are the most popular drawing tablets out there for artists. They used AI art in their advertisements, and people gave them. They're like, you're crazy. You're basically advertising using AI art, so you're promoting something that's basically going to make your product obsolete. So what sense does that make? If people start using AI generated art, they're going to stop buying your tablets. So there's all these things that have come up just recently where there's been blowback, and there has been blowback, which is, I think, a good thing, because if people are not upfront about what they're using AI art for, or that it is AI art that they're using, then you're trying to deceive people. You're basically being deceitful by omission. So,
yeah, for sure. And so the contest that you mentioned, right? So what exactly happened? Like, how did they get caught?
The Corel Draw, or the Spawn one. Okay, the Corel Draw. The other contestants, of course, you run a contest, you're hoping you win and that your art wins, and instead an AI generated piece of art wins. That's a spot that somebody who actually spent time and effort making the art could have had. And so everybody started messaging Corel, and it turns out they interviewed the winner, and the winner came clean. I don't know if it was a male or female, but they said, yes, I used AI. However, I spent about 3 weeks refining my prompts to get exactly what I wanted it to generate. So in a way, it was still, the argument of, hey, is it still art? So they claim that they spent 3 weeks refining this. So, but Corel did withdraw the winnings, the prize from this person. I don't know if they ended up picking another third winner or not. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, that's crazy to me that people. I know people are fucked up, and so they'll cheat and they'll lie just to win a prize, and they'll get all the praise. Oh, you're such a good artist, and maybe that gives them the feels or whatever. But deep inside, I mean, I wonder if they actually like. I guess some people are just psychotic and they don't care, right? They don't care if they actually didn't do it and are getting praised for it. But it's just weird to me. But those are the exception, and I agree. Anyone passing off AI art as their own art is. It's pretty egregious. But AI, I still think it has its place. I don't think, as a general rule, people in the TTRPG world are very, very, viscerally, reactive when it comes to AI art. Maybe they're just...
In the comic book community as well.
Yeah. Maybe they're just the loud voices. I can understand the comic community. It's a little bit different. Because comic books are all about the art, right? Mostly. I mean, they're part of the story, but the art is a huge part of the comic book community. Whereas the TTRPG community, you have independent publishers who are making a product, and they just can't afford to pay $20,000-$30,000 for an artist to do 200-300 pieces, or whatever, or 100 pieces for their book. And so they'll use AI art, and then they get roasted for it. And it's like, dude, you didn't put out a book with all this hard work. So who are you to judge this other person who put in all this hard work to make this product? And they're using AI art, but they had no other option. I'm sure they would have hired artists if they had the money, but no one backed their Kickstarter, or no one bought their product. And so they're just...
It's true. It's a fine line, because, if you say you're not an artist and you can't afford to hire an artist and you draw it yourself, you got stick figures in there, then everybody's going to roast them for that.
Nobody buys it.
Yeah, nobody buys it, and they make fun of them.
In TTRPGs...
they make fun of the person.
And in comic books, nobody buys it. If you... Art sells. That's the bottom line. If you have a really
Yep.
awesome piece, your book will sell. That's just how it works. And if you have a shitty art piece, your book is not going to sell no matter how good your product is. It's just not going to sell. And so, yeah, people are hypocrites because they'll complain and they'll criticize, but then they won't buy the book unless it has good art. So, you know, that's kind of my thing with it, you know. Like, I don't use AI. You and I, you know, we have our publishing company and we hire real artists for all of our products, right? But, and in fact, the only product that I had that had a little bit of AI art was Horror Issues and Landing. And the only AI art it had was from Adobe Stock. So it was stock art that was paid for and sourced ethically, supposedly. So, you know, I paid for literally everything. The art in Horror Issues and Landing cost me about $25,000 for all the art in that book. I paid real artists to do all the art. It was a lot of money. It was freaking expensive as fuck. And luckily the Kickstarter was successful enough that it paid for the art. But the bottom line is, that would all have been money in my pocket if I didn't have to pay artists. And and could have paid for the next project. But, you know, I decided to do the right thing. Right? So it's a fine line. But there are some people that aren't as fortunate, and maybe their project makes $3,000. Do you really think that a book that made $3,000 is going to be able to afford any amount of art at all within the book?
No.
That is not AI? Absolutely not.
The other thing is people don't realize how much art actually costs. You know, real art.
Yeah.
How much it actually costs.
Yeah, you can do stock art too.
Expensive.
Stock art is cheap, but stock art is stock art. It's not, the reason it's stock art is because it's not that good. Let's be honest. It will not sell your book.
Yep. And then there's the other side of that coin, which is if you hire a really, really good artist who's a real artist and professional, and then people see it and they assume it's AI. So,
dude, you have no idea.
You know,
I put ads out for Horror Issues and Landing, like all real artists, right? And I'm putting the ads out, and they're just pieces from the real artists, and all the like a bunch of comments. AI slop.
AI slop.
AI slop. This is bullshit. AI slop. I suspect AI. Like, dude, get the fuck out of here. I paid people a ton of money for these pieces. Fuck you. But, you know, people just, any art they see now, it's just automatically in their brain. It's AI. It's AI.
If it's good art, then it's got to be AI.
Like,
it has to be.
Like, you know, there's extreme on both ends. Like, dude, like, calm the fuck down.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
People are people can get nuts. They get very passionate about things, especially with AI. And it's funny because most of the people who get really passionate about it, most of them aren't even artists themselves.
No shit.
They want to quote unquote be on the right side of history and champion the quote unquote little guy, and which would be
no, they don't really want to champion the little guy. I really don't believe that. I believe that those people that are specifically calling you out on social media, they're like yelling to everyone, "Look at me! Look how good I am! Look what a good person I am! I'm anti-AI. Look at me! Look me! Me!"
And virtue signaling.
It's literally what it is. It's virtue signaling. Oh me! Look! Yeah. I called them out first before anyone else. I'm so good. I'm such a good guy.
But
like, fuck you.
There are certain things that the thing is, like, even if there's the proponents of AI, which would be like tech bros and stuff, you know, of course, because it's technology, they're all for it. They create things too that, I mean, just accept that it's AI and tell people that it's AI, and whoever accepts it will buy it, and whoever doesn't accept it won't buy it, you know. But the main problem I have is with people deceiving. There's apps now that because a lot of real artists, they record themselves, because with Procreate and a lot of the other drawing apps, you can set to record your process.
Infinite
so it shows
Painter.
you drawing.
I love it.
Yeah. But now they're making apps that they generate an AI image, and then it generates a time-lapse drawing of that image to make it look like you drew it. So now there's even that. And why would you even create that unless you want to purposely deceive people?
Yeah. There's
no
reason,
other purpose for that.
Yeah, there's no reason for that to exist other than for people to try and deceive people.
Yeah, and that just doesn't make sense to me. Like, why? Just be honest. It's AI art. That's it. Why are you going to try to say, look, I drew it, and here's the process, here's the time lapse, when it's all fake? And how do you live with yourself? How do you sleep at night knowing that you're completely deceiving people, lying? That's not even, if you were to show up at a convention of some sort and somebody asks for a commission, they want to watch you draw it, what are you going to do at that point?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm gonna prompt. I'm such a good prompter. Like, get the fuck out of here. There's this guy. He does. He used to do videos like testing like real world like armor and swords and shit. The name was Shadiversity, right? And he started. He wrote a couple of books, and then he started getting really into AI prompting, and literally goes online and calls himself an AI artist, and says that it takes skill to be an AI prompter, and that, I mean, he has become, and yeah, I know I'm calling specifically someone out, but if Shadiversity, he's a huge channel, he's got like hundreds of thousands of subscribers and views, so if anyone's a subscriber and likes him, fuck you, and fuck you if you're gonna come and talk shit to me, so I will be happy to tell you to go fuck yourself. But that guy says that he's an AI artist, and just, he's a prompter, you know what I mean? He says it takes skill to prompt.
But here's the thing, though. At least he says it's AI.
Sure.
You know, there's and I will call out another specific person. Is there's these two guys from India, Tirth Artist and Pencil Art, on Instagram, and they post pencil art daily, hand drawn art. It's with all the hashtags they use, and it's fake pencil drawings, and they're passing it off as it's they don't even say it's AI.
Yeah, they should get.
They try to pass it off as it's real, and they'll get 30,000 likes on it, and 500 comments, all 500 comments saying, "Oh, this is wonderful, beautiful art." And I'm like, man. And the thing is, I can't even respond to these people and say, "Look, it's AI," because if I respond now, it's showing engagement on this person, and it's going to boost through the algorithm. It's going to boost their visibility even more. So, you know, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, some people, you know, that they see that and they have no idea, and they get tricked, and that's, you know, that's just how things are, I guess. It is fucked up, but, you know, what can we do? But overall, what do we think about AI? So, is it an overall good thing, a bad thing, or neutral? Like, what do you think?
It has its uses, and as long as it's used ethically, I think that it's definitely a tool that artists can use, you know, for poses. You know, if you don't have, you know, one of these dolls that you can pose or whatever, that, and even these are limited as well, then, and you Google and you can't find the pose that you want, then generate a prompt through AI, or even for inspiration, you know, say, you know, draw me the most hideous monster you can think of, and even if you don't copy it exactly, it might inspire you. You might see one little thing in it that you like, you know, the eyes. I didn't think that pink eyes could look horrendous, but in this AI generated image, the pink eyes really look really horrifying, and I could use that in my own drawing. And you take that one little piece and use it, incorporate it into your own drawing, so you can use it for inspiration as well. So it's not all bad. Of course, it's not good either. So I think there's a middle ground, and I think we're still trying to find it as a society, trying to find that middle ground. You know, there's a lot of pushback against AI. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction for the most part. I think there are times when it's okay to bite back, but I think most of the time that people go really crazy about it, there's no need to do so. Like, you know, there was that show, just a quick last point here, that Marvel show, Secret Invasion, and they used AI in the intro, and everybody flipped out about it, but they weren't trying to hide it. You know, they were upfront about it. Nobody liked it. They thought it looked like crap, but hey, you know, they tried something new and it failed. Okay, so it failed. But the knee-jerk reaction was, oh, they're using AI and taking jobs away from real artists or whatever. And it may be true, but at the same time, sometimes if they're crunched for time, they don't have the intro made yet, and the show's gonna launch in a week. You can't get an animator to create that in such a short amount of time. You have AI generate it, and so gets you out of a little bit of a problem, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But at least they weren't trying to deceive people about it.
Yeah, I agree with you on the deception part. I think AI has its place. I think AI definitely is a useful tool for artists and other people who are not artists. I agree if you're going to be deceptive about it, that's not good at all. But I also agree that people online specifically, they tend to have like ridiculous reactions to it. The minute they see the word AI, they flip the fuck out, and it's like, bro, calm down, dude.
Yep.
Just because the word AI exists in this sentence doesn't mean you have to flip out and try to virtue signal to everyone how good you are and how anti-AI you are. Like, dude, calm down. So, yeah, there are people online that just, like, are over the top.
It's true.
And the thing is, they don't even fucking know why they hate AI. They have no clue. Most of the people that are super hardcore, like, aggressive about it have no clue. If you ask them, why do you hate AI so much? Oh, it's stealing works. But they don't actually even know how it actually works. How AI actually...
Yeah, actually, quick examples, 2 examples. So one, I ran a role-playing campaign, and I used AI music, to set the mood while we're playing. It's background music. It's just background music, man, and it's AI. I was upfront about it. I said, by the way, everybody, before we start, I use AI music for, background music. And, man, people flipped out about it, man. People leaving me bad reviews as a DM on DM websites because of it. And, oh, you would have gotten 5 stars, but you get 2 stars because you use AI. And I'm like, it's AI music, and the only ones hearing it are 5 people at this table. Like, seriously. What is the problem?
Yeah, any DM using AI within a session, why is that a problem? Like, why are you going to give a DM low stars?
You're not using it for commercial
truly
use.
Believe, you moron, you fucking moron, do you truly believe that the DM that's not using AI, quote unquote, has paid for every single piece of art that they're presenting in the game? Because
and that's my next point.
You're paying them $15 to $20 a session for 5 sessions. That's $100. And one piece of art is $100 to $300. So he's using hundreds of pieces of art. In fact, in one session, he'll have orcs, goblins, horses, fucking other NPCs, 10 NPCs. So he's used 100 pieces of art in one session. And you think he
$1,000?
You think he paid for all of them? You idiot! You fucking moron! You fucking retarded!
Yeah, no.
fuck.
And here's the problem. So here's the argument, right? So here's my other example is. I made a video. I have my YouTube channel or whatever. It's not a big channel. It has 400 followers. But, it was about the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. And in some of the images, I use AI-generated images in my videos. And just because I wanted to use funny images, so I'd make, like, the most ridiculous thing. I'm talking about the power of, like, super stretch power. I made, like, a bird with this long wing, whatever. And people are like, oh, why do you have to use AI slop? Great video, but why do you have to use AI slop? And I said, well, what do you want me to do? You want me there? And their response was, well, use real artists' art. So what they want? So I said, so what you want me to do is take, for example,
steal art.
A
They
Todd
want you to
McFarlane
steal
drawing.
art.
Yeah. So I said, you want me to take Todd McFarlane drawing, use it in my video, and not pay Todd? So basically, stealing the art. Or should I use an AI-generated art that uses thousands of different images to create one image? So you're not really stealing from
image
one artist.
that is not stealing anybody's art.
Right.
It's a
so
unique
you want me to
image.
flat out steal and not pay this
Fucking
artist,
idiots.
and use their art and not pay them, versus using an AI-generated image. Like, that's what you want. And then they're like, oh, I guess I never saw it that way. I said, yeah. I mean, if you just take a step back, take a breather before you have your knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah. And the knee-jerk reaction
back,
is they're not even really that passionate about it. It's just an opportunity for them to virtue signal. Oh my God, this is my opportunity. This is my chance. This guy used AI. Oh hell, I'm the first one here. Yeah. Oh yeah.
First one with the torch.
I'm the first one.
And the pitchfork.
Let me fucking burn the motherfucker. Like, dude.
Yeah, handing out the pitchforks. Yeah, exactly.
Like,
so that
people like that annoy me so fucking much. Listen, I'm against AI art being used, and in terms of like cheating and lying and pretending like it's not AI and all that stuff. Okay, but I think I hate even more the people that react against AI art, just trying to be fucking, oh, I'm pro artist, I'm pro artist. Shut the fuck up, dude. Pro artist.
Yeah.
Like those same people are the
If
ones
you're-
that online constantly tell you, well, why don't you use this person's art as a reference? So you're okay, like you said, you're okay with me stealing other people's art.
Yeah.
Oh,
Basically.
oh, why didn't you use this person's art in your book? Without paying them? Yeah. You want me to steal their art versus using AI, which is generative by learning from different works and creating a brand new, unique image. Okay.
Yeah.
You have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, you idiots.
Yep. All right. So I'd say I would love to get our listeners' thoughts on this because it is a very hot button topic. It's like the topic of the day in the art world.
Oh yeah,
so
I
think-
know I'm gonna get roasted in the comments by the same people that
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
talking about. I know it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it. They're
Yep.
gonna be like, "Oh, you're a fuck motherfucker, bitch." I'm an artist. Gio's an artist. Fuck you. Are you an artist? If you're not, then stop typing and get the fuck away from your computer. You stupid ass.
Yeah. And that's what I would tell the people on my YouTube channel too, the ones who gave me crap. I'd say, look, I'm an artist myself. I'm an artist. I'm making a video every 2 days. I cannot churn out 20 drawings to use in my video in full color
Yeah,
in 2 days
that's ridiculous.
to use in my video. Like, no, I just generate it with the AI. Whatever. What is the big problem? So I would love to get our listeners' thoughts on this. We're going to have, I guess, ways for them to reach us.
Yeah. It'll be through the comment section or email vasoden@denosinfinitum.com. It'll be in the show notes. But before we leave the final section of the day, as we're going to be making as a usual thing, artist or piece of the day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. For me, it's Bastien Lecouf Dehar. He is I'm going to put some pictures up right now. He is a fantasy artist. He does a lot of art for like Magic the Gathering and role-playing games like Cult. Very cool. I mean, his style is very unique in a way that fantasy art generally tends to kind of muddle itself together. This is very, very different. It makes me think of like Hellraiser. Like if the world were
very cool.
Hellraiser, what would that look like? And it would be art from Bastien Lecouf
Oh,
Dehar.
man.
Yeah, he's so cool. I'm gonna post some images so you guys can see. But if you've never played the game Cult, it's a tabletop role-playing game. It's a horror role-playing game in modern times. Angels, demons, and it's really, really cool. And the art just really sells the game even further. So what is
Nice.
your piece or artist of the day?
My artist of the day it's actually somebody I hadn't heard of before, which is really interesting to me because I'd seen his work many, many times. I was always a fan of old wine bottle art because now that's one of the things I do. I paint portraits on wine bottles, and there's all this wonderful art from like the early 20th century, 19th century on the labels of wine bottles and whatnot. And one artist, Alphonse Mucha, he created all of these really beautiful paintings. Like you think of Athena, this is what I think of, and these interesting backgrounds with the center portrait of usually a woman. It could be a couple or whatever.
Oh damn, that's really
if
cool.
you
I'm
look up
looking at it
Alphonse
right
Mucha-
now. Holy shit.
Yeah,
We're gonna post some
Alphonse
up for
Mucha.
you
So
guys to see too.
Yeah, I actually went to visit my parents in Tampa last month, and while up there, we went for ice cream. And right next to the ice cream shop was this like spiritual healer, right? And they had their window display. The spiritual healer sold rocks and your typical tarot cards or whatever. And they had this painting on the window, and it wasn't labeled. And it's this beautiful painting, and I snapped a picture of it. I'm like, oh man, that's such a cool drawing. I'm going to use it for inspiration to make my own drawing, because this is what I do, portraits, right? So I snap a picture of it. Then I go and I hang out with this friend that I have who's also an artist, and we're going to be doing an art show together tomorrow night. And we go to his house, and he's showing me all his art books. And one of them is Alphonse Mucha, and I go, wait a minute, this looks like that one I saw next to the ice cream shop. And as I'm flipping through it, there's the very drawing I had taken a picture of, and I'm like, I had no idea who this was. So I just learned who this person was, and really, really cool art. You got to look him up. Alphonse Mucha, he's a Czech artist, and really
It looks
beautiful
like some
work.
of it
Really,
is
really nice.
watercolor, not all. But,
It does. Yeah.
like this
Yeah, it's
moonlight,
very cool.
moonlight piece looks watercolor to me. Although I'm seeing different versions of it that one seems digital, so it must be someone that traced it. But
Well, yeah, they use it for different things. So they use it usually on a label for wine bottles and stuff. They use it for they printed them on tarot cards too as well. They printed it on.
I could totally
plates
see
and-
tarot cards. Yeah.
Yeah, tapestries and all sorts of stuff. Like his art was used in a lot of stuff.
Wow.
That's
Very
really
cool.
cool stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Very nice. Cool. Well, great suggestion. All right. Well, that does it for today's episode. Again, if you guys have any comments, if you want to be an idiot and try and roast us, be prepared for the crackback.
The wrath.
Yeah, because I will
Yeah.
crack back, motherfuckers. Anyways, so if you want to leave some comments, go ahead and leave them. But any other questions or anything like that, for those of you who are cool and want to be cool with us, then we're down to just hang out and talk back to you guys in a normal way. But anyways, that does it for today's episode of Brush and Bone. This is the first episode. We will be having some guests. We expect to have a lot of artists as guests, so hopefully that happens in the very near future. Expect that coming soon. And I am Vase Odin. I am your host, along with my co-host, my twin brother Gio. Gio.
Yes, I am Gio, and I am known online as Headless Hammerhead. So you can find me on Instagram at Headless Hammerhead altogether. Headless like the Headless Horseman, Hammerhead like a hammerhead shark. My email is also headlesshammerhead@gmail.com if you want to reach out. I love art. I love everything about art and all types of art, including some AI art. So, send me a message, shoot me an email, and we'll keep the discussion going.
All right, everyone. You all have a good one. We'll talk to you soon. And make sure you hit record
Brush
on
and
my
Bone,
desk.
it's the place to be.
You don't even know how to do
Games
it.
and comics, art you see. Brush and Bone,
Make sure you clap
for
twice
you and
so I can
me,
align your
for
video and
you
audio.
and me, for you and me.
What? God damn it. There he goes. There he goes. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my fucking God.
Brush and Bone, it's the place to be. Games and comics, art you see.
A
Brush and
great
Bone,
start to a
for
great
you
podcast.
and me, for you and me, for you and me.
What at the club.
Brush and Bone, it's the place to be.
You ready?
Games and comics,
You recording?
art you see.
Are you recording?
Brush and Bone,
Hold on,
This is the
let's
worst.
stop the-
Thank God we're not live.
for you and me.
Thank God we're not live.
All right, here we go.
Jesus
All right,
Christ.
Let's me clap twice. Here we go, and flutter, flutter. Here we are.
I didn't hear you clapping again. But anyways. So we introduced ourselves. So you ready? So
Games and comics, art you